Coming up on WFT's First at 5, a new bill that would strip funding from major programs like AP and dual enrollment, how school districts and teachers are fighting back.
Plus, just 3 months into 2025, and the U.S. has already recorded the most measles cases in a single year since 2019. How to protect your young ones from the contagious infectious disease.
And Florida forest officials are expecting a more active wildfire season than usual this year. The early steps you can take to keep the flames at bay. First at 5 starts now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Key programs in the education of Florida's high school students could soon face dramatic cuts from state lawmakers. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Alex Land.
And I'm Sebatian Broche. A new bill moving through the legislature would slash funding by half for classes centered around a more rigorous and diverse learning experience. WFT's Jack Meyer read through the bill and the response from a local school district fighting to keep it from passing.
House Bill 5101 would cut significant funding for numerous advanced coursework and college readiness programs across the state. Some of the affected programs include AP, IB, and dual enrollment courses. At a Tuesday night board meeting, concerned parents and educators in Marion County criticized the bill, noting the importance of these programs in helping maintain a level playing field for students of all backgrounds.
When this add-on funding is effectively used, as it is here in Marion County, it closes that achievement gap between the haves and the have-nots. What we really need is to invest in this program, and we need the state to continue to hear that message.
MCPS board members passed a resolution to urge lawmakers to amend the bill to protect the funding.
If passed, the bill would slash funding for dual enrollment programs like the one here at Santa Fe College. The Florida Department of Education reports that some 60,000 students in Florida have taken at least one of these courses, and they say that number continues to grow.
Dual enrollment and AP are free. They are completely free for high school students, and they allow you to get college credits for free that will go towards your degree, especially if you're here in Gainesville and you're dual enrolling with Santa Fe, because that also carries over to UF.
Another key area that could be on the chopping block is career and professional education programs, which provide alternative opportunities for high school students who aren't interested in college. The clock is ticking on this bill as it moves through the state Senate, with only 3 weeks left remaining in this year's legislative session. Jack Meyer, WUFT News.
Newberry's newly elected mayor Tim Martin is speaking about Tuesday's win. He beat his opponent by less than 100 votes. Martin won a tight race, getting 53% of the votes over his opponent, Joe Glanzer. He'll replace the current mayor, Jordan Marlowe, who served since 2017. Martin says the goal for his term is to boost the economy and lower taxes.
I really hope we are ushering in as another era, a new era of just some commercial growth that will provide a good tax and job base for the community. I hate to see kids that grow up here being forced to leave and go elsewhere.
Martin has served on the city commission for 12 years. He stepped down to run for mayor.
Officials with the Florida Commission of Agriculture say they are warning Floridians to get ready for a busy wildfire season. Florida's wildfire season is typically from April to June. Commissioner of Agriculture Wilton Simpson spoke in Hillsborough County this morning. He recommended preventative wildfire measures due to a more active season than usual this year. He said since January, FFS rangers have already burned over 55,000 acres in Florida.
We fought over, I believe, 1,000 fires already this year. We will fight another 1,500 to 2,000 fires between now and the end of fire season. A lot of those fires are started by Mother Nature with lightning, but most of the fires are by arson or backyard fires that get away from us.
FFS officials say it's not enough to wait until you see smoke in the air. Floridians should prepare their homes now while obeying local burn laws.
It's been a generally dry start to April with only 1/10 of an inch of rain in Gainesville so far this month. But tomorrow, another cold front will make its way into north central Florida and a few showers will be possible. UF meteorologist William Maxham joins us now with more details on our next weather maker.
Yeah, our last front that came through didn't produce much rain, and over the past 7 days, we've only had a trace of rain across most of the area. Our next weather maker going to be similar. We're expecting a lot of rain tonight across parts of Alabama, but this front going to be weakening as it rolls in tomorrow. We'll see a few showers here and there, but a lot of our area will see nothing at all. Just some cooler temperatures behind that front. Today we made it up to near average 79 degrees. Currently it's 80 in Ocala. We'll see temperatures coming down this evening. We're watching for the potential for some showers tomorrow. It's coming mainly into the late afternoon and evening. Behind it, much cooler air will be settling in. It's one of two cold fronts that we're tracking. We'll talk about both of them in a few minutes.
According to health officials, we have seen over double the measles cases this year than the last. WUFT's Rhiannan Beatrice is live in the newsroom and spoke to a doctor about ways to prevent this highly contagious disease.
Florida is one of 22 states that have reported a case of measles. There have been 607 total cases reported in the United States this year. The state of Florida has one case of measles that is under review. Measles is spread through the air when an infected person coughs, breathes, or sneezes. The disease can remain infectious in both the air and on surfaces for up to 2 hours after the infected person leaves. Assistant pharmacy professor at the University of Florida, Dr. Nirma Vadlamudi, says the most effective way to prevent illness and transmission of the virus is to get the measles vaccine.
The chances of somebody contracting the disease despite being vaccinated is highly unlikely.
90% of 2-year-old children in Alachua County were up to date on vaccinations as of 2017.
It is highly important that we achieve more than 95% coverage to avoid future outbreaks so that we can keep all those individuals safe as well who are not able to get the vaccine due to their medical condition.
Mother and nurse Marquise Guillemette keeps her children up to date with vaccinations.
Every time you go, they always give you the vaccine information sheet, and I read it, and pretty much the benefits outweigh the risk, so I decide to vaccinate them.
If you think you have been exposed to the virus or have any questions about receiving the vaccine, you should seek advice from a medical professional. We have been told Alachua County children have a higher religious exemption percentage than the rest of Florida. Some people also oppose the vaccine altogether. Live in the newsroom, Rhiannan Beatrice, WUFT News.
USA Today confirmed what we in North Central Florida already know, that Cedar Key is one of the best places to be. The newspaper named Cedar Key the second best coastal small town in the U.S. following Pismo Beach, California. The ranking comes after a tough year. The city was hit by hurricanes Debbie, Idalia, and Helene all within 13 months. Former Mayor Sue Colson says the ranking is a testament to the strength of her community.
It's a recognition of the fact that we are tough as nails. We're a strong community, and we never lay down and just give up. And it seems to just make us stronger and better each time.
Colson added that the town will always be #1 in the community's heart.
Coming up when First at 5 returns, President Trump pulled back a series of tariffs Wednesday in an attempt to restore the global economic order. But economists say Americans aren't out of the financial woods just yet. How this latest move could still impact your wallet. Stick with us.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. President Trump continues to defend his plan to impose widespread tariffs on imported goods, even as the stocks in the U.S. plunge again. Investors appear pessimistic that despite the president lowering many of his new tariffs, there's still no end in sight to the trade war with China.
And now Democrats are asking for an investigation into the timing of that decision. NBC's Yamiche Alcindor has the details from Washington.
As American stock markets were plunging yet again, President Trump insisting his tariff plan to reshape the world economy is working.
We think we're doing very well. Again, there'll be a transition cost and transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
White House officials claim pausing so-called retaliatory tariffs was always the plan once U.S. trade partners started clamoring for new trade deals. And they denied the plummeting stock market forced them to act. But the president admitted Wednesday he heard complaints from business leaders and investors.
People were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy.
A senior administration official told NBC News concerns about the bond market helped convince the president to reverse course, dropping tariffs on most trade partners to 10% for 90 days.
And there's no doubt that the Treasury market yesterday made it so that the decision that, it's about time to move was made, I think, with perhaps a little more urgency, but it was going to happen at any moment anyway.
But the president's trade war with China continues to escalate. The White House clarifying Thursday imported Chinese goods face a 145% tariff. American businesses struggling to keep up.
They're getting, like every 12 hours, notices, emails from their suppliers in China repricing their goods. That is a hard way to run a business.
Wisconsin ginseng exporter Will So is among those caught in the middle.
I never thought I'd be fighting in a war, but I guess I'm fighting in a trade war.
Now Democrats want to know who inside the White House knew about the tariff pause and when, floating accusations of insider trading, and calling for an independent investigation after the stock markets temporarily soared.
When the president sends out a tweet saying it's time to buy, you can bet his friends who are in the know are buying. I think it deserves the closest scrutiny.
I think any idea of insider trading is ridiculous.
Meanwhile, there is some good news for American consumers. New numbers show inflation continues to slow, but many economists are dismissing the report because it came before most of the president's new tariffs took effect. Yamichelle Sendor, NBC News, Washington.
If you don't have a portfolio that can withstand this market downturn, here are some tips from a CNN Managing Director of Financial Planning to keep your investment. Don't sell into a down market. It's advised not to sell when the stock is down so you don't miss when the market recovers. Spend with a plan and reduce spending from your portfolio. Lastly, consider working part-time to stable your assets.
Severe thunderstorms are rumbling through the state of Tennessee along a cold front. This is going to be our next weather maker. I'll track this front next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Families that speak multiple languages at home may have a harder time this hurricane season. The National Weather Service is no longer providing language translation of its products. This is a change that experts say could put non-English speakers at risk of missing life-saving warnings about extreme weather. A NWS spokesperson said the Weather Service paused translations after the contract with the provider lapsed.
That's right. And William, speaking of storms, are we expecting to see anything in our area coming up?
There's a chance that we could see some strong storms tomorrow, but not today. We've got beautiful weather today. In fact, the sun is shining over the campus of UF. We've got just a few clouds here and there. It is definitely a little cloudier than it has been. These clouds could be producing some showers tomorrow, but those chances, they're low end at about 20%, currently 81 degrees. It's the first 80-degree temperature of the week. We have been warming up. That front, though, going to arrive tomorrow with some additional clouds and a few showers here and there. Currently at 79 and partly cloudy in Stark, 80 Bronson, a little cooler. Along the water, it's in the 70s, Cedar Key. Tomorrow, we begin the day in the 50s. We'll once again move into the 80s into the afternoon, but there is a tiny chance of a late afternoon shower or thunderstorm, and these storms tomorrow could be strong to severe, but today, severe storms are much more likely. In fact, they're occurring right now across parts of Tennessee, and this area of storms going to be producing mostly just gusty winds and some hail that could be as large as an inch in diameter. Here's the front now. You can see lots of these yellow shaded areas are severe thunderstorm watches. The small little polygons there are severe thunderstorm warnings, and we'll see storms popping up further southward as that front arrives tomorrow, but the risks are lower. We're only in a level 1 out of 5. Isolated storms could be strong to severe. Winds over 60 miles an hour, the biggest threat there, but storms are going to be kind of fizzling out as they move southward. We're looking at that front just on our doorstep at 9 a.m. Then as it moves southward, it generates a couple of thunderstorms in the late afternoon, but the heaviest rain is really going to be close to I-10. We're looking at these storms weakening considerably as they move southward, then kind of fading away. So a lot of the area probably won't see anything at all as far as rainfall, but we will notice the cooler temperatures returning. It's going to be moving into the 70s for highs behind this cold front that moves through. We're going to see temperatures as cool as the 40s early Sunday morning. After that, we start the warming process. We're back into the 80s early next week. Then another cold front going to be making its way into our area by Wednesday. Not doing much except kind of slowing down the warm up. Temperatures just take a tiny step backward, but those rain chances remain very low through the next 7 days.
Breaking news just into the WFT newsroom, the Hogtown Fair will remain at Depot Park for at least one more year. We've been following the financial issues with the longtime event, but during today's City of Gainesville Commission meeting, a motion to find funding sources passed unanimously. We will continue to work on this story and bring you the latest on WUFT.org. Gainesville City and Alachua County leaders want neighbors to share recommendations on their plans to update the public transportation system. The Metropolitan Transportation Planning Organization sent a survey to residents with questions about a long-range transportation plan for 2050. The survey highlights safety, day-to-day operations, accessibility, environmental protections, and more. You can scan this QR code on your screen to visit the survey or find more information on the city's Facebook page.
Coming up in sports, the conclusion of a historic regular season for a local baseball program goes down tonight. And the festivities continue for the 2025 national champs. Hear from the NCAA tournament's most outstanding player after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Happy Thursday and welcome to sports. I'm Daniel Haviv. Gators men's basketball continued their national championship celebrations with an appearance from a few players at a local Raising Cane's today. Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, and Thomas Houck swapped their basketball jerseys for Raising Cane's gear. The players shot promotional content, served food, and signed autographs for Gator fans who waited for hours to get in the doors. Gator senior guard Walter Clayton Jr. believes a championship and events like this help raise spirits of Gator fans everywhere.
I think it's lifted everybody's morale. Anytime you can win, especially a championship, it's a great feeling for everybody, especially they've been coming out all year, they've been supporting us, and obviously we've been putting in the work, so it's a great feeling for everybody.
And for some more celebrations, the team will have a 30-minute ceremony during an extended halftime of the Orange and Blue game. Todd Golden, players, and voice of the Gators, Sean Kelly, will deliver remarks to fans. Before the game, you can take pictures with the championship trophy and pick up an official poster. Speaking of the Orange and Blue game, Gators football is currently finishing their final spring practice before the big game. After nearly a month of training camp, the Gators are reaching the end of spring season. Quarterback DJ Lagway is not expected to throw on Saturday. The Orange and Blue game is set to kick off at 1 p.m. And in last year's spring game, the Blue team beat the Orange team 19-17 after a Trace Mack game-winning field goal. Buchholz baseball is 23-1 heading into their senior night matchup with crosstown rival Gainesville tonight. WUFT's Ethan Eibe was at Buchholz High School ahead of their regular season finale, concluding an incredible season thus far.
Buchholz High School as the Bobcats face the Gainesville Hurricanes to finish off the regular season. The Bobcats have emerged as a national powerhouse this year thanks to their 23-1 record, and head coach Ron Brooks says their seniors have truly emerged as leaders.
I'd use the word toughness a lot to describe them, right? They are coachable guys. They want to be coached. They want to be pushed. Just the effort they display day in and day out is kind of infectious. So just a tough group of kids who have never really worried about who got the credit or anything like that. They just want to win baseball games, and they care about Buchholz High School.
4 Bobcat seniors will play college baseball, and they'll have the lessons from Brooks to go along with them. In the meantime, though, they'll look to add one more year to the championship list right behind me. Reporting from Buchholz High School, Ethan Eibe, WUFT Sports.
Former Gators women's basketball player Rashea Kyle announced that she will be transferring to the University of Miami after 3 seasons with the program. Kyle averaged 14.1 points and 8.7 rebounds per game this past season. She was the anchor of Florida's interior unit since arriving to Gainesville from Purdue in 2022. Kyle announced on her social media page that she was heading down south for the 3rd stop in her collegiate career. And one final note, Gators baseball begins a series with Missouri tonight. They're coming off a win over Florida State on Tuesday. The Gators still have only one SEC win. Your final look at the weather is coming up after the break.
Taking a look at that weekend forecast, we mentioned the Orange and Blue game happening Saturday. That's at 1 o'clock. Weather is going to be perfect. Sunshine, it should be around 70 degrees, highs in the 70s both days of the weekend. But before we get there, we do have temperatures in the 80s tomorrow and a slight chance of a thunderstorm into the late afternoon and evening after the weekend. Another front arrives next week. No rain expected there either. Temperatures are just going to be coming down a touch. Really slowing down our warming trend. We're back into the mid 80s behind our front, but the weekend, both days, gorgeous, perfect for anything outdoors, and only a few showers on our Friday.
Well, I am so glad that we're going to have nice weather this weekend. I am really excited to watch the Gators game.
I'm personally not a huge football person, but I'm really excited that the Masters happening right now. I'm a pretty big golf guy, so that's what I'll be watching this weekend.
Well, thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a great night.